actually see Mr. D.K. Shivakumar there watching the results as they come in. He's a man who's made no apology of his ambition to be chief minister this time. But that again said, we have not officially called this election yet. So the Congress is inching towards being in the pole position to form the government. Can we switch the graphics now to the overall numbers, please, so we can have a look and get responses from our guests? The Congress is leading in 117 seats, the BJP in 76, the JDS in 24. This is not yet the number that the Congress would have hoped for, and there is no surprise in the fact that Kamal Nath is among those who is warning that the BJP will now try and reach out to the independents and to the smaller parties. Mahima, I'm going to come to you and Anand in just a moment. This is what Kamal Nath had to say. Let's play out Kamal Nath's statement. Guys, do we have Kamal Nath's statement ready? Okay, I was told it was on ready, but it's okay. I think there's some confusion and they're trying to stack it up. Mahima, let me get in your response at this point. Are you somewhat sort of, a win is a win, and if you form the government, you form the government. We're not calling it yet till there's more details over. But are you disappointed a little bit? Would you have wanted this to be more, Mahima Singh?
I think, good afternoon, everybody. And I think that we are still in the middle of a lot that is ongoing. And I think that in the next, few hours, it will be very clear. We'll be forming the government with a clear majority. And I think that the people of Karnataka have clearly taken their blessings away from Modi ji. It was threatened, the Kannadigas were threatened that if they do not vote for the BJP, Modi ji will not bless Karnataka. So I think the message is very clear. In fact, I am reminded of these lines. ये जो सब नजरे झुकाए हुए आते हैं नजर, लोग अंधे नहीं आईना दिखाया गया है. So the mirror has been shown to the BJP very clearly because the election was Modi versus local issues. It was Bajrang Dal versus Bajrang Bali. It was constitution versus forces of hatred. And I think today we clearly see what has won. I think the bubble of complacency that the BJP had illusioned the people of this country with has begun to, deflate. There's a piercing in it now, and it's very clear that the people of this country want change. The people of this country, Karnataka has given this clear message to the BJP.
Why are you going from?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you
why have you made a? Let me ask the question. Why have you made the Karnataka election extrapolated to the people of this country?
I'm taking it from the BJP. The BJP made this election into a national election by, you see, this is the condition of the BJP when there was the Modi factor there. It was like the Modi factor is going to win the Karnataka for the BJP, which I think has absolutely fallen flat on face. So what I'm saying is actually taken from the BJP's narrative. And so if it was Modi factor, then the BJP, please gear up for 2024 because the Modi factor has begun to diminish.
Okay, that is a very provocative statement, and we'll take that straight to our panel. The Modi factor has begun to diminish. I'm told that the Kamal Nath statement is now ready to play out. But after that, Mahima Singh of the Congress says, as the Congress inches towards this position where it's going to form the next government in Karnataka, and D.K. Shivakumar reaches out to the 5 independent legislators, Kamal Nath is giving this warning of moving fast in the state. Listen in.
बना पाएगी अभी तक जो खबर है कांग्रेस का बहुत अच्छा प्रदर्शन है और ये निश्चित है कि कांग्रेस की सरकार बनेगी। भारतीय जनता पार्टी का प्रयास रहेगा कि अन्य पार्टियों से या स्वतंत्र उम्मीदवारों से मिलकर खरीद फरोख्त करें, सौदा करें, जो उन्होंने हमेशा किया। अरुणाचल प्रदेश से शुरू किया था। ये सौदे की राजनीति की शुरुआत जो इन्होंने करी अरुणाचल प्रदेश से, ये अभी तक खत्म नहीं हुई है।
सौदे की राजनीति अभी भी हो सकती है, but first the BJP has to concede the election. It has not conceded it. We have not called it. Nobody has officially called this election. I think everyone has learned the hard way that it isn't over till it's absolutely over. But Mahima says that Congress is very confident of forming the government. Let's start getting reactions. She also said the Modi factor has diminished with these numbers. Anand Gurumurthy, are you conceding defeat? Mr. Gurumurthy, can you hear me? I don't think he can hear me. Sabha, what do these numbers look like to you? Sabha.
Even if we combine the numbers of the BJP and the JDS, I'm seeing 75 and 24. It could have changed.
Yeah.
It just touches 100. So I don't think we should. The trend shows that the Congress will have the numbers. But let's see. I mean, you're right about the BJP did succeed in breaking Congress and JDS in the past. But at that time, the BJP was the single largest party. They had 104 seats in the last election. And the Congress had 80, and the Congress had formed the government in alliance with the JDS and made Kumaraswamy the chief minister. So all of these things have happened in Karnataka. Look, this is definitely a huge boost for the Congress. It's a lifeline for the Congress to win this election. For the Bharatiya Janata Party, it was a setback, but it was never an existential election for them. It was never. In fact, they were experimenting with getting rid and almost retiring their old leadership. I'll speak a little bit about Mr. Shettar's seat because I know the Hubli seat. The Hubli seat was always going to be won by the BJP. He would have won it had he got a BJP ticket. He didn't get it. I'm told that he might lose it, right? So that is one of the areas which the BJP would win that seat. Shettar. Yes, there was a reason for him, whatever the calculation was. The new BJP does not want to be dependent on traditional caste-based leaders, and they are more comfortable with the Modi cadre ideology. There was a long time war of attrition between Yedurappa, who has been a 4-time chief minister, never having completed a term, and Mr. B.L. Santosh, who is the Sangathan Mantri, organizing secretary, very crucial position in the Bharatiya Janata Party. These issues on the ground also take on caste dimensions. Within the BJP, where the BJP appeared to be more divided, there was talk of the Brahmins underdoing the Lingayats. So even if a small section has shifted away, because Mr. Santosh happens to be a Brahmin, and Yedurappa had a knack. He is the tallest Lingayat leader. But they were reduced to literally hoping for one seat for his son. That is the situation into which, and whether he will be with Modi here or not. So it is the BJP has experimented with sort of getting rid of the old guard and having its own interchangeable leadership there, and they probably succeeded at that in Karnataka. So to that extent, so their game is for the future, for the Lok Sabha. Let's say the BJP, they've not done that badly. They've got 75, maybe it will become 80. It's not a bad seat adjustment. Of course, it would have been an added cherry if they had won the election or been in a position to not allow others to form a government. Right now, presuming the Congress touches 120, it seems unlikely that they will experiment with that because that will rebound, because the Bharatiya Janata Party's game right now would be for the contradictions within the Congress and all to play out till the Lok Sabha election. They have performed extraordinarily well in 2014 and 2019 in the Lok Sabha. That is the end game right now. So let's presume that, and the Bharatiya Janata Party will say that they will give briefings and they will say privately that it would have been worse if Prime Minister Modi had not campaigned because the local leadership was so useless. Whatever scope the local leadership had was rendered useless by the National High Command. Number one. Number two, the BJP, I don't think is going to do some wild politics over here because they want to retain the Lok Sabha seats. The analysis is it's not going well in Maharashtra. Okay, so everything is now towards Lok Sabha. Shinde and all may still be there, but there is a suspicion that Uddhav Thackeray is getting anyway. These are big states.
How do you respond to Mahima Singh's statement, the Congress spokesperson, and I'm hoping Anand can hear us now from the BJP, that the Modi factor has diminished? If you're talking about the BJP focused all in the run-up to 2024, and by the way, Siddaramaiah, the contender for chief minister, has given a statement saying that even if Modi, I had always said, even if Modi came, nothing would happen, nothing would change, and that's exactly what's happened. So the Modi factor is going to be debated, although we all know that the Modi factor plays very differently in Lok Sabha elections and very differently in assembly elections. In assembly elections, it's always had mixed results. Sabah.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with you. But look, it's not great because the Prime Minister put himself out there. He was campaigning. I mean, they were all the time in Bangalore. Bangalore, apparently, they're doing reasonably well, and he campaigned all over Karnataka, no doubt. But again, there is a Lok Sabha factor. Look, right now, there is another thing happening within the intra BJP. Is that Adityanath Yogi is going to do? I haven't checked out that result.
Yeah,
because
we need to actually look at the UP numbers, Karthik. So let's pull
he
up
is
those
going to be
graphics.
the other power pole position, huge factor, which is emerging within the BJP. And he is not a pushover who can be set aside like Yedurappa was. And, he's there. That is going to be the other thing. So, in a sense, look, I'm not saying Mr. Modi is over at all, not at all, but Mr. Modi has faced challenges.
And the UP numbers are on your screen.
Yeah,
UP numbers are on your screen.
yeah.
Sorry, Sabah. Karthik, over to you. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually in both the Nagar Palikas and the Nagar Panchayats, Barkha, BJP has a handsome lead. So of the 199 Nagar Palika, I'm seeing BJP 74, SP 30, BSP 21. Nagar Panchayat, BJP 113, SP 63, BSP 32. So yes, that's right. Sabah ma'am is right that, they're doing well and they're expected to do well. One will then have to make a comparison as to how well they did the last time, because my recollection is the SP was actually very, very low in the last election. Whatever SP gains is a net gain for them. But yeah, they are doing well. But I just want to also bring to sort of the screen, Barkha, a comprehensive map of Karnataka where we have mapped the leads for all the three parties. If I can just ask the team to pull that up.
Can we change to the graphic? Yeah, go ahead, Karthik.
You can very easily see, Barkha, the spatial variation in where the seats for different parties are coming from. Had it not been for coastal, actually BJP might have been even lower. So BJP sweeping coastal Karnataka, they should be up in just a second. Not this one. We're looking for the map actually. So just to give you a sense of what's happening, the BJP has swept coastal Karnataka. The Congress has done really well in Hyderabad, Karnataka, which is its old bastion. It has flipped Mumbai, Karnataka, central Karnataka in its favor. Bengaluru, it's close, but the BJP is ahead. And then old Mysore, the Congress has gained and the Congress and BJP both have gained at the expense of the JDS, but the conversion of seats has been better for the Congress. This is the map I'm talking about. It just doesn't get more intuitive than this. You start from, it seems like, look at the BJP's pockets of, a victory. The western part, which is the coastal area, Uttar Kannada, Dakshin Kannada, and Udupi. And you look at the green, which is concentrated in the old Mysore area. But the blue is everywhere. There is also a little bit of orange or the saffron in the top, in the northeast, which is the Hyderabad, Karnataka area. But just look at the Congress doing well in Bombay, Karnataka, Central Karnataka, and Hyderabad, Karnataka. They're doing really well. And then old Mysore. So Congress has won 4 out of the 6 regions of Karnataka, Barkha. And that is their path to victory. 118 seats are coming from these 4 regions.
So I want to now actually go to the politics of it. We've gone through the numbers of it. And I think both Mahima and Sabah have made a very interesting 2 different political points. Mahima makes the point that is diminishing. That's her quote. Sabah says there's the rise of Yogi that is also taking place within the BJP, and you have to see both of these things together. Anand Gurumurthy of the BJP, do you first, as we see shots of Congress workers celebrating come in, do you first concede defeat, even as all of us in the media are being very careful right now of calling this election? We've still not called it, but the Congress looks in pole position to form the government unless there's a dramatic surprise in the last few rounds of counting. Anandji?
See, basically, first of all, I would like to start off with what happened in 2018 election. Something similar numbers were being shown in TV at around 11:30, 12 o'clock. Okay, just like how these people are dancing, Congress guys, even our people got excited. But what we have to understand in the counting that we are seeing is, last time we saw this, what happens is up to 10:30, 11 o'clock, okay, last time, the ballot votes were getting counted. Okay, though the TVs were announcing, okay, 10 rounds complete, 11 rounds complete. Well, I'm not telling they're wrong. Okay, they're asking the right things, but the actual data only comes up after 12:30, 1 o'clock. Okay, now this time, in the ballot votes, there are more number of votes because aged people are also being counted there. Okay, so the number of voting machines are more. Okay, so my colleague here from the Congress and Sabah, everybody, okay, they are ready with the speech. which they want to do against BJP. So they're, just bombarding with the speech. I'm telling, wait for it. Okay, up to 12:30, 1 o'clock. And you cannot just be ready with the, when we were in school, there used to be this thing, right? He's ready with the essay for cow, and I'll talk about the cow, no matter what this thing is. Okay, question paper is. So they are ready with the speech from 3 days as they have seen the exit polls. But I would still say, wait for an hour, okay, and then you start really commenting on BJP and whatever you want to comment. Ultimately, whether we win or lose.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Whether we win or lose, I'm coming to that point, Tabarka.
Yeah. Do you feel?
See, whether we win or lose.
Okay, you speak.
Yeah, whether we win or lose, we are going to learn something from every election, right? So just wait for an hour, because this none of you have told how many votes have been counted till now. More than crores of people have voted, right? How many votes have counted? You are telling 1 round, 2 round, 3 rounds, but none of the channels you are telling exactly how many votes have been counted, because it's very difficult. I know on the run collecting that information and adding up and telling, but ultimately this is what I want to know, and then we can start talking about whether what the direction is.
I think that's fair. We have not called the election for precisely that reason, that we have all learned that till the counting is almost over, we should not make any conclusive statement. Meanwhile, do we have sound on these pictures? Anyone, can you speak to me? Can you speak to me? Do we have sound on these pictures? We don't have sound on these pictures, but can we get them with sound, please? Because actually, if you hear the sound, you'll hear chants of Bajrang Bali at the Congress office. I just wanted to make that point, because this was such a contested part of the campaign narrative. Where
Barka,
yes,
you do see the Bajrang Bali ka gada, right? The mace.
Yes,
so
correct.
Don't need the chant, but it's pretty visually apparent.
Correct.
And I wonder how much does Kamal Nath have to do with this, because after all, in Chhindwara, he's the one who constructed the Bhavya Hanuman temple. This is very interesting coming from a Congress headquarters.
No, and it's also a very interesting answer to the Congress that, to the BJP, I beg your pardon, that targeted the Congress for diminishing Lord Hanuman after its proposal to ban the Bajrang Dal. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there in terms of political semiotics. Anand Gurumurthy of the BJP says, we can't do this analysis right now. The election isn't over. Aarti, jump right in. Aarti.
So, Barkha, this morning, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra went to a Hanuman temple to pray.
We have those pictures.
I mean, this whole Bajrang Bali business, I think the Congress is kind of really giving it back to the BJP.
Yeah, in fact, we have those images of Priyanka praying at a temple earlier today, a Hanuman temple. I think that's the point that has to be underlined. So that's very interesting.
Hanuman temple.
Yes, Madhavan, and yes, those are the pictures there that you see. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Madhavan.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting, Barkha. I mean, while on the Hanuman theme, I also noticed that the spokesman for the Congress party, Pawan Kumar Khera, is also named after Hanuman. And so it seems two interesting factors I've noticed, and Karthik presented a very, fantastic analysis. Therefore, there is very little for us to say except interpret some of the numbers that he's given. So it is abundantly clear that the Hindutva come Bajrang campaign for Modi worked very well in the Udupi belt bordering northern Kerala, because that is where the polarization factor, or what I call the PQ, polarization quotient, is very high. In all other regions, the blue that has been shown in the map shows that Congress has actually shown a double whammy of sorts, because the Vocaliga votes has sort of tilted towards the Congress, especially under DK Shivakumar's leadership. On top of that, the big surprise or the cherry on the cake has been the fact that even Lingayats, in spite of the BJP's bet on them with Yediyurappa towering, the votes seem to have, thanks to Jagdish Shettar perhaps, shifted towards the Congress. So in Congress politics, it is amazing that, as I say, the Lingayats and Vocaligas somewhat have helped the Congress. Similarly, the Bajrangis as well as the Bhaijans seem to have helped the Congress in some way. So that is, but the numbers aren't showing a clean sweep on that count. And to that extent, we can't go overboard in our interpretation, except that in the delicate ecosystem of Karnataka politics, the organizational energy of Congress under DK Shivakumar seems to have worked excellently, because the average Congress worker in Karnataka compared to the Congress units in the other parts of the country seems to be
Yeah.
much more motivated, organized, and having issues at stake. And another
So
point.
Mahima, yeah, Mahima is making an extrapolation for national politics. I want to spend the next 5 minutes talking a little bit about that. Madhavan, do you draw any extrapolation for national politics?
No, not completely, but yes, let me make a nuanced point. People talk about Modi, and I've always held that Modi's leadership should not be confused with charisma. Charisma is something, an X factor, a personality driven factor that attracts some people. Modi doesn't have that. What he has that is an ideology driven, strong image protection with an organizational muscle. And in the South, it hits. I have used Rahul Dravid as a metaphor because Dravid is from Bangalore, and Dravida politics is the wall for BJP's ideology because quotas, job quotas, education quotas, economic
Yeah.
goodies, as well as what you would call some of the caste-based coalitions work much more stronger in the southern part of the country because we have what is called the OBCs of the south are
Okay.
much more politically empowered.
Can I just jump in and firstly just play out those shots to give you some sense of the sort of mood at the Congress headquarters. This is in fact in Delhi, and then I want to go straight to the politics. That's what's in. Does this have any impact for 2024? Go back to what Mahima said about the Modi factor. Is the scale too narrow for the Congress to feel secure? There are lots of political questions to be asked and answered, but these are the scenes from the Congress headquarters at Delhi, this time with the sound up. Jai Hanuman and kind of Jai Rahul Gandhi, not so much Jai Siddaramaiah or Jai DK Shivakumar. Okay, let's go straight to the politics of it. Okay, Kartikeya, you have an important lead for us. Kartikeya, yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, Barka, at this point, Congress 121, BJP 72. I still feel at the end, once the lead is established, successive rounds tend to go to the party in lead. Don't be surprised if this stretches to 125. I won't be surprised, at least. It could go down as well. But if this expands, I won't be surprised. But one important data point. So Kalburgi is where Kharge Saab comes from. While the Congress has done well in Hyderabad, Karnataka, in this district, it's a tie, 4-4. Of the 9 seats, BJP leading in 4, Congress leading in 4. This is an interesting data point.
Yeah. So I want to go to my. Sorry, lots of you are wanting to come in. I'll start with Aarti, then Sabha, and then Mahima and Anand. Yeah, Aarti, go ahead. Aarti's on
Congress
mute.
spokesperson about the
Yeah, go ahead.
Modi factor diminishing. And I think that's really what we need to look at because,
Yeah.
2024 is staring us in the face.
Yeah.
I don't know whether the Modi factor is diminishing. I think what we can say is that the BJP's polarizing emphasis on Hindutva, that is definitely diminishing. And it really, I think, works where there is a good local leader as well. For instance, in UP, where you have Yogi Adityanath, who also represents Hindutva politics. And so the combination of Modi plus Yogi, it's kind of like double Hindutva and, it works very well in UP. But where they don't have a Yogi-like figure, like they have now put Yediyurappa to grass in Karnataka. They don't have a Yogi-like figure in, West Bengal. In Maharashtra, I think they made a big mistake by bringing down the MVA government and trying to, sort of hitch their wagon to Eknath Shinde. And in the process, they have again, kind of diminished their state leadership. I think these are factors that are going to impact the BJP in 2024. Modi will do all his drama and his shock and awe campaign and everything. But without the presence of that strong regional leader to back him, I think the BJP will find it difficult in these big states. They still have a huge edge in UP because of Yogi. And I think that they, again, in Karnataka they have made a big mistake by trying to marginalize Yediyurappa, and on the eve of a major national election to go in for this whole churn in leadership and caste representation and so on. I mean, I don't think it was a very wise politics, because you've got just a year left, and in just a year you cannot sort of affect the kind of change that you want to do.
Yeah, Sabha, and yet when it comes to crediting the regional leaders, I'm sure the Gandhis will, but the Congress social media feed kept the focus on Rahul Gandhi, even sharing the lyrics of a song called I Am Invincible, I Am Unstoppable this morning. That video didn't even have a single picture of the regional leaders. And that's
So,
probably there. Yeah, go ahead.
If I'd like to just add some reporting-based information,
Yeah.
Because I went there once, but I've been in touch.
Yeah.
First of all, the social media feed used in Karnataka was better than that of the BJP. Number one, BJP guys told me this, okay?
Yeah.
Because there was this division within the BJP between the Yediyurappa lot and the BL Santosh, okay? Number one. And maybe one side was telling the other that BL Santosh, even this guy, even Hubli was always a BJP stronghold. So the fact that if the BJP manages to win that seat and Shettar gets defeated, Shettar was in a way ready for that. But the point is, he was not ready to be put out into the grass and told you have to go. So number one, the Congress, what we see in the social media feed nationally sometimes is not what is being seen in the state. But however, I get your point here. Number one, I would like to nuance what Aarti has said. I don't agree with her entirely. I think the BJP will fall back on even more Hindutva where it can. Okay, that is their natural way of being. And because in this election, the Prime Minister who talks of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas did actually raise Hindutva issues himself personally. He tried very hard.
But
I would also say the BJP will also tell you.
Sabha, you want to comment on this tweet? Jairam says, yeah, no, I'm just asking you, it's on your point only. If you want to add it, Jairam Ramesh says Congress is won, the PM has lost. That's what the Congress will try and do. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's what the Congress will say. The other thing is the Hindutva pact, the area where the BJP has been strong. They're going to turn around and say we won because of Hindutva. As Karthik, I mean, the data is showing us the only area where they're holding on is UDP and the coastal area. Let's look at the final numbers. Is that they're going to say that. And that is how they have become. What they did in Karnataka was not getting rid of Yediyurappa was not because of Hindutva. Yediyurappa is a traditional caste. He is not Hindutva. They wanted BL Santosh and all. It is after Yediyurappa is pushed away that this hijab, hilal and all goes nuts over there. But they're going to say, because that is the path that the Bharatiya Janata Party has for itself. And so that is what they're going to try. And I have no expectation that the BJP will roll down Hindutva, not from a opinion or some emotional. This is my analysis of a party that I've covered for 2 decades.
So you're saying they're going to double down on Hindutva, not diminish it.
They will keep it going wherever they can. The idea is to reduce the local leadership. Adityanath Yogi has become a hard nut to crack for them. Number one. But what do you think all this? The change in India, Hanuman Jayanti, Ram Navami, all of this is happening. Why? This is all Hindutva. Hindutva is not only that the PM comes. Look what the Prime Minister said in Karnataka. He said, "Vote dalte hue bolo, say Jai Bajrang Bali and vote." I mean, come on. So they had no expectation, and they're going to say we would have done worse if PM had not come. We would not even have
lots of hands going up in response to what you're saying. I think Aarti wants to clarify her.
I can lay a bet on that. I will take a bet. It will not go down.
Aarti.
Yeah. That is not what I suggested. I said that Hindutva has diminishing returns as far as the voting public is concerned, unless in an election, while the Prime Minister is an important figure and, kind of like a charismatic figure, he has to be backed by a good local leadership as well. Otherwise, It just on Hindutva alone, you cannot win, as Karnataka has shown us.
Yeah. Okay, that point is clarified.
The local
Kartikeya,
leadership is not important, no. Here's where the rub lies. I'm not arguing with you. I take your point. I agree with you. But they think the local leadership should be destroyed. Right now, what is the standoff in Delhi over Brij Bhushan Charan Singh? It is the Delhi doesn't want him to go. The Yogi is willing to let him go. So
Yeah,
the BJP,
absolutely.
you are saying, I agree
Yeah.
with you. So therein lies the rub. They don't like, Delhi doesn't like strong local leadership. They are stuck with Adityanath Yogi.
They're
That's
stuck
yeah.
with Abhijit because he helps them
Okay.
win elections.
Okay. Our
See,
Congress
and if
and
they
BJP
don't cultivate more yogis in other states, it's going to be very difficult to carry an entire election just on Modi's shoulders because Modi has been around for a long time. You know, so
Okay.
you need to bump him up with, you know, charismatic local leaders.
So
like
basically,
Yogi.
the Modi factor needs to be buoyed by local leaders, and the local leaders cannot be diminished as they have been in Karnataka. Anand Gurumurthy finally has his hand up. Kartikeya, do you have a numbers update before we go to Anand? Yes.
I was telling you this could stretch. It is stretched. 124 Congress, BJP 69. And look at the vote share gap, Barkha. Geez, 8 percentage points. That's
Yeah.
like a gap you see between the BJP and the Congress in a North Indian state in the local, the national election.
Yeah.
That's huge, right? And Congress seems to have gained both at the expense of the BJP and the JDS. It will not reflect in the BJP's numbers. Why? Because BJP has also gained from JDS to compensate its vote share, but the BJP has also lost votes to the Congress. So understand, the Congress has gained both from BJP and JDS. BJP has gained primarily from the JDS. So BJP net is 0, Congress net is positive, and JDS net is negative.
But
I'll just add one.
But isn't it interesting that the BJP actually holds on to its vote share?
That's what I'm saying. It's not holding on to all of its traditional vote share. It is also adding new pieces. It has
Right.
lost some old vote share, but it has compensated. But that compensation has not come from areas where that vote could have converted into seats, like old Mysore, right?
Yeah.
But I will just add one more point to this very interesting discussion that was going on. Modi ji requires a local chief minister or a local leader when they are seeking re-election. When Modi is trying to bring the BJP to power in a state where it's virgin territory, where
Yeah.
the BJP has not been tested, then his charisma is enough. We have seen it state after state. But the moment you have a local chief minister or a local BJP
Well,
leader,
it hasn't
who's
worked in the
seeking-
South. Kartik, that theory hasn't worked in the South.
No,
for the BJP.
no, wait. I'm talking generally. Of course, there will be outliers, right? So I can give you different examples. Jharkhand, Maharashtra, Haryana, UP, 2014, 2017. It was all prime minister's face.
Okay.
The
Can I
states in 2019.
now, Kartik,
Barkha, let me just complete that point. Barkha, 2019, the 3 states with poor local leadership, they lost. 2022, the state with Yogi Adityanath, they won because there the magic worked.
I understand.
The other chief minister they have is Assam.
Yeah, I understand
So
what you're
please
trying
go
to
ahead.
say. No, hang on. I understand what you're trying to say, but actually, even virgin territories for the BJP, the south of the Vindhyas, this hasn't worked. So it's not a one-size-fits-all theory, but we can debate it later. We need to bring in the BJP and the Congress leaders. Be very, very patiently. Madhavan, I'll come to you after that. Anand, you had your hand up first. So after that, Mahima. Anand, over to you.
Yeah, see, basically, I don't know. We are talking about an election past to just speak about her hate theory, okay? And you continue calling it a hate theory, okay? But
Why is
when
it a hate
the Prime
theory?
Minister
It's
has
political
given a statement-
analysis.
Let me explain, no, Barkha.
Okay,
Let me explain.
okay,
Okay, I'm coming to
okay.
that point. I'll not go away. Okay. So
Okay.
it's just when the Prime Minister has given Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and Sabka Vishwas, and all our schemes, beneficiary schemes, we are ensuring that every citizen gets a chance. But she just has to speak about the hate theory everywhere, not only here in media, but in social media. So I just don't want to personally comment on one person, but ultimately, everything, if it boils down to that, no, elections are not like that. Okay. But definitely there are certain other factors. Now they are telling, okay, there's no local leader yet. But are you also considering that in the last 3.5 years, almost 1.5 years, we had COVID-related issues with respect to economy and financial issues. And with respect to that, there's a lot of inflation. In the last 1 year also, there's a lot of inflation. So all these factors get merged into an election. In this election, here, they are making promises which are not even, something which they can give. But they have promised. This is the same thing that Kumaraswamy did. Okay, in 2018 election, he did the same thing. Okay, he promised complete loan waiver, and ultimately, what did they do? They just gave the loan waiver to some of the constituencies where they wanted to win back in 2023. That's all these guys will also do. Okay, they will only do a lot of corruption and other things. Okay, but people still, are being misled because we're only talking about subjects that we love to, which get more trends and more TRP and other things. But ultimately, if you are taking the bigger picture here, there were a lot of crises during the corona, and leaders of Karnataka BJP stood up. They ensured that everything was done in a way which was directed by the central government, and ensured that nobody went.
Can I ask you a question? My question is simple.
Yeah, you may.
Yeah. Jagdish Shettar has lost his seat. Meanwhile, we have that result in. Jagdish Shettar was, of course, the BJP leader, stalwart, who moved to the Congress. My question to you, sir, is this, Mr. Gurumurthy. You may think that the criticism made by some of the other guests is what you call hate politics. I'm only asking you, how do you read the reduction in numbers? You have gone down. Look at, you've gone down from 104 to possibly 69. But yes, there are some seats still being counted. In fact, we now have information that in 29 seats, the margin is about 2,000 or less. So I take your point.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but you are reduced. What is your analysis of why you reduced?
So see, wait a second. Okay, before we, you do the analysis on all fronts. That's what I'm telling. But here it is being only talked about. Okay, Hindutva didn't work for BJP. Hindutva works for Congress. Now Priyanka goes to Bajrangbali today after whatever her age is. Okay, so this is not the thing. Okay, this is not the only context in which the debate should go on. Right? What I'm trying to tell you is, if this is the context in which you want to take the debate, then let's talk about the other things also, so that all your experts here and even Congress, let them speak about the economy that India is taking forward with respect to other countries also. Then we will do a slicing and dicing and say, okay, what is the GST gap that was there? And wait, Barka, I'll just make one more statement. Okay, just give me this 30 seconds. Okay, then what was the fiscal deficit in 2020, 2021, 22, and what is 2022 fiscal deficit of Karnataka? How it was regained back? All this work BJP government did. Now, if people understand it or not, you must make them understand, or BJP must make them understand. That's a point that I take from this debate. But ultimately, you only talking about one thing. Okay, Hindutva didn't like all that. You're seeing by vote share. Vote share remains the same.
Okay. Mr. Gurumurthy, we are just getting reports. We're waiting for the official statement to come out that Mr. Bommai has conceded defeat, but we're awaiting that to come out formally. I assure you that nobody has any interest in doing hate politics on either side. I was only asking you quite simply, what is your analysis for why the BJP has not done as well as last time? That answer we are still awaiting. But let me go to Mahima. Equally, my tough question for you, Mahima, is this. The big statement that this is, the country has changed its mind. Karnataka is not the country. Every state has its unique politics. This is an assembly election, not a Lok Sabha election. And in the Lok Sabha election, the BJP swept. So, these big statements about, immediately linking this to national politics, Jairam Ramesh tweeting, the Prime Minister has lost. You fought this election as a local election. Now you want to make its outcome national. How do you explain that, Mahima?
I'll briefly answer your question, but before that, let me just empathize with the BJP spokesperson for two reasons. Number one is he's absolutely resonating the pay CM, cry PM sentiment of the BJP here. I empathize. I also empathize with the BJP for another reason. Their dream has been shattered of having a Congress Mukt Bharat. So I do empathize with the BJP spokesperson on these two grounds. And then I take you to the Bharat Jodo Yatra days, because then these people used to question where are the results, what is the impact? And you see the Kannadigas who drenched in rain to listen to Rahul Gandhi about their issues being talked about and discussed with when he walked the streets of Karnataka, as he said, I'm walking the streets that you walk to drop your children to the school, to go to the office, to pay the GST that has been, imposed upon you without any policy, without any strategy. So those Kannadigas have today given a befitting reply to the Modi government and to the Bommai government also. And why do I say Modi government time and again? And why do my leaders say that it is the Congress that has won, but Modi that has lost? Because it was Mr. Modi, who cried foul before the Kannadigas about his insult, about his personal offense. He was the one who never spoke about the 40% Sarkara, the corruption, the legislator who committed suicide, the Bajrang Dal overreach there, and all of that. I think that it is the people of Karnataka who've shown the BJP that Bajrang Bali doesn't have the angry face that the BJP is trying to show the world. Bajrang Bali strikes the balance. The balance has been struck today.
Yeah. Okay. Now here's the. Oh, hang on. Everybody, hang on. Madhavan has been waiting. Anandji, please give me a second. I'm also quite intrigued by the Congress wanting to claim Hanuman, but as their own. There is in Chhattisgarh, you're seeing the Chief Minister tweet lines from the Hanuman Chalisa. You're seeing Jai Hanuman slogans at the Congress office. So this is something quite interesting that is going on. And all right, we have the statement now from Chief Minister Bommai. We've not been able to make the mark. Once the results come, we will do a detailed analysis. As a national party, we will not only analyze, but also see what deficiencies and gap were left at various levels. We take this result in our stride. So, Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai has conceded defeat. That is the breaking news at this hour. Though the media has been careful in calling Karnataka, the BJP has called it. The BJP Chief Minister Kartikeya, we've been very cautious. But the BJP Chief Minister, can we update the banners on our screen, please? Mr. Bommai has conceded defeat. There, we've not been able to make the mark.
Barka.
Yes, Kartikeya, hang on.
Barka.
Hang on. I just want to read the statement again. Mr. Bommai says we will, as a national party, we will have to analyze and see what deficiencies and gap there were in our campaign. We've not been able to make the mark. Go ahead, Kartikeya.
No, but I was just adding as to why we have been so careful, because even as we speak right now, there are 17 seats with a margin of less than 1,000 votes, of which Congress is leading on 8, BJP 5, JDS 3. There are 9 seats with a margin of less than 500 votes. And therein, if you look at this vote, the split, it's 4 to the BJP, 4 to the Congress, and 1 to the JDS. Now, these are not very big numbers, but it could be the difference between a hung assembly and the Congress getting a majority. And I think that's why everybody is still waiting and watching.
But then are you saying that when you look at 32 seats where the margin is less than 2,000 votes, so there could still be a surprise?
Because they're evenly split. For instance, it's 16 to the Congress, BJP 9, JDS 5. Unless it one-sided flips in one direction, status quo should remain. Because whenever we have such close margins, the assumption is 50-50. You lose 50%, you'll gain 50%. So if that happens, because it's not that all these seats are going to the Congress currently, right? 16 to the Congress, 9 to the BJP, and 5 to the JDS. So 16 to Congress, 14 to non-Congress.
But all of the 32 would have to go to the BJP at the moment for this gap to be filled, right? That's the point.
That's my point. That is my point, which is what I'm saying. It is a low probability event that all these seats will flip away from the Congress towards the other side. The more likely event is you'll have some sort of a mix and match where some seats move this way and some seats move the other way, in which case status quo will be maintained. That is exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
This would have been a problem.
Have to go. Yeah, sorry, can I interrupt, because there are lots of others who have to go and make their last comments. Aarti's last comment, then Madhavan, then Anand. Aarti, go ahead, please. Aarti. Aarti, can you hear me?
So, before we jump to 2024, I think we need to look at these state elections that are coming up later this year, where in at least 3 states, it's going to be again BJP versus Congress, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. I think there's a huge lesson for the Congress from Karnataka when they go into fighting these elections, that leave it to the state leaders, leave it to the state units. The Gandhis should play a supporting role, but in the forefront, it should be the state leaders, and they should fight on local issues. That is the best way to challenge the BJP. So, this Karnataka is a huge learning lesson for the Congress.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point that you're making about local issues and what will the Congress learn. And I see Mahima's hand up, but can we, with everyone's permission, Aarti, I know you have to go. Thanks for your time, Madhavan. Briefly, then Anand, and then Mahima. Go ahead.
Yeah, Barkha, very quickly, there is this whole thing about the double engine sarkar that I want to dispel. It works only in some states, because in highly empowered states where you have an educated rural middle class, that is Karnataka as a classic example, then let me remind everyone that we are in a parliamentary democracy with a federal system. So Modi's attempts to presidentialize the national election and then make the local election seem like an American governor's election doesn't work, because various kinds of cultural, caste, coalition, economic and social issues play out, in which interest group politics, which is a very strong discipline in political science, is more important than the BJP thinks it is. In fact, it is Mr. Anand Gurumurthy who assumes that the BJP's worldview is the only worldview available. It's your opinion. Don't confuse your opinion with objective facts. And every time you learn this, you assume your opinion is the fact. It's not. People
You are assuming about me.
No, you are the one who
Okay.
talked about the cow's essay, and you are behaving like the cow's essay. Now,
Okay,
the
okay,
point
let's not
I'm
be
trying-
personal. Madhavan, no, let's take that
No,
last
no, I'm
statement back.
saying, do
Let's
not
take that last
assume-
statement back. Let's withdraw that
Okay,
last
no,
statement.
okay,
Please
I
withdraw
don't
it.
mind that.
Please
But
withdraw
I'm
it.
trying to say that
Yeah.
interest groups matter, issues,
Yeah.
policies, programs, and performance matter. And the Karnataka election is a case in point, which shows that India has an politically aware rural middle class, which is not allowing simplistic personality-based cults to be.
I think,
smoothly taken.
and I think the other thing to talk about, Anandji, is also that perhaps the BJP intuitively understands the North better than the South, and it has been trying to change that, but with limited success, right? I see Kartikeya's hand up, but I'll let Anand, may I play Mr. Bommai's statement and then come to you, because we have a statement ready. Can we? And I also see Nalini Singh, veteran journalist, joining us. I just want to play Mr. Bommai saying we have not made the mark, despite Kartikeya telling us there are 32 seats where the margins are less than 2,000. Listen.
No? Once the results come, we will do the detailed analysis. And as a political party and as a national political party, we'll not only analyze and we'll see that what are the gaps and what are the deficiencies were there and at different levels. We'll look into that and improve upon it. And we'll take this result in our stride and we'll go ahead and reorganize the party and come back.
Okay, we will reorganize. We'll take the result in our stride. Mr. Bommai there conceding a defeat before. The media has, in fact, called this election. The media has been very careful this morning. We've certainly been very careful, because some of the margins are so narrow in more than 30 seats. Kartikeya, do you want to just jump in before I introduce our next set of guests?
Yeah, Barkha, at this point, what we had been discussing in the last lap, you can extend your lead. You usually extend your lead. Congress now touching 129 to BJP 67. Congratulations to Mahima ji. It seems that they're getting close to that, not just passing the majority, but handsomely passing the majority, getting close to a well-cushioned victory where they can, now they can take a breather. And this whole, I think even Bhupesh Baghel, Chief Minister Chhattisgarh, has tweeted something on Hanuman. Barkha, this could become really interesting in the run-up to 2024, because remember, in 2020 Delhi, this is what Aam Aadmi Party did. Their Jai Bajrang Bali versus the BJP's Jai Shri Ram. Will the Congress use this as an opportunity to blunt what the BJP will do with the grand opening of the Ram temple later this year? Only time will tell. But for now, they seem to be cashing in on this. And I think they're now coming very close to a victory, comfortable victory. So the close margins are still there. But this is now moving in the Axis My India territory, which the BJP would not like.
Okay, which the Congress would be relieved at. Anand, we'll let you make your point, and then Mahima, and then we'll introduce our guest. Go ahead, Anandji. Can we unmute Anand? Anandji, you're muted at your side. Can you unmute your side? Yeah. Go
Can
ahead.
you hear me now? Yeah. So basically, even I have to move now. But see, the Congress spokesperson was showing a lot of sympathy and empathy, but I want to tell it back to them because right now, Barkha, from now on, will question you on the manifesto promises, which is more than 1 lakh crore for Congress. In Karnataka, 1 lakh crore more will be this thing deficit. Okay, now how is Congress going to do that? You're not going to talk about Modi, Mahima. You talk about that. How are you going to do it? Tell us the mathematics. Okay, that's all I want to ask, because that is where sympathy and empathy lies. Okay, you will be cheating people. Congress will be cheating people if you're not able to deliver that. If you go into governance.
Okay,
that's the statement I want to make. Okay, I'm sure Barkha will continuously question you on that.
Yes, I'm getting all set to do exactly that, and also ask them who's going to be their chief minister. Thank you so much, Anand Gurumurthy, for joining us. We'll let you go now to your next program. Before I introduce the others on our screen, Mahima, I must allow you a last word as well. Who's going to be chief minister? The Congress is poised to form the government. Mr. Bommai has conceded defeat. Who's going to be the chief minister? And give me a non-politically correct answer.
I raised my hand when Miss Aarti Jairath was speaking, and now my learned colleague from the
I'm so sorry.
So I just briefly make the point that I had to, and then leave it to my colleague. The BJP spokesperson and the BJP at large can do better at perception, because he again misquoted me just now. He's left. I wish he was here to hear this. He said sympathy and empathy. I only said empathize. We empathize. We are not sympathizing with the BJP. We understand the value of different parties and different counterparts in a democracy. And what I wanted to say to Miss Jairath, it was that, she said that we hope that the Congress goes on like this. Let me just remind the viewers that Himachal was won on local issues. Rajasthan, we are governing with local issues. Karnataka, every legislator has signed the 5 guarantees, and that's what we have been projecting on our handles. Rahul Gandhi ji is our leader, of course. We'll project his face, but we have fought always. We are fighting. We will fight for the local issues, for the people. Thank you.
Mahima, we'll let you go. Thank you so much. Let me introduce now formally on the program Nalini Singh, veteran journalist, Nilanjan Sarkar, senior fellow at the Center for Policy Research. Good to see you. We're also joined by Meeta Chakrabarti of the Congress Party, and Kartikeya Batra is still with us as well. We'll have the BJP spokesperson join us shortly in a moment. We just had one of them leave. Kartikeya, the overall picture, I think we can now say the Congress is set to form the government in Karnataka. Hang on, guys. Someone's speaking. The Congress is poised to form the government in Karnataka. Mr. Bommai has conceded defeat. Where the numbers land up at the end, we're still waiting to see. Kartikeya, overall picture, and if you want to also take us to some of the regions and the big patterns. Kartikeya.
Yeah, so we can put up the regional splits in a bit while I talk over the numbers. So Congress Barkha 128 leads, BJP 68. The Chief Minister of Karnataka has conceded defeat. I think it's safe to say now this is going in one direction. I think Congress was not fighting for 113. Congress was fighting for 120 plus, was my sense. I think this result would give them some heart that this is now not just a victory. It's an emphatic victory if they cross the 125 mark, because that will be huge. Now all the internal bickering, etc., can happen within a safe space, and then they can do whatever they want. If this had been tenuous like we saw in Madhya Pradesh 2018, then you could have a Jyotiraditya Scindia-like scenario, but that doesn't seem to be happening. So I think well played, Congress, well done. We've been saying that, there was anti-incumbency, but you need the right opposition to cash in on the anti-incumbency. There was local leadership, there were resources, there was a local campaign. It was a positive campaign, and the Congress had the right leaders representing all social groups in Karnataka. The other key thing is that the JDS, while losing vote share, has held on to its seat share. So it seems that the JDS's residual vote share from other pockets where seat conversion is difficult has gone to the Congress, although the JDS will be disappointed vis-a-vis seat share from 2018. It's gone down to 22, but it's not the sort of annihilation that one could have thought, going down below 20. 22 is not a bad figure, not a good figure, somewhere in between, but lots to think for the JDS, because I think the JDS has lost ground. that has been picked up by both the BJP and the Congress. The BJP has lost ground, that has been picked up by the Congress. The Congress is the biggest beneficiary of this particular election. Look at the jump in the vote share, 6 percentage points. The lead over the BJP is 8 percentage points. That's humongous. That is huge. The BJP has retained its vote share primarily because what it lost to the Congress, it has been able to compensate from the JDS. So the JDS net loser, Congress net gainer, BJP net neutral. We can now, if we can move on to the regional splits, there are 6 primary regions in Karnataka, and I can quickly tell you what has happened in each region. If we can start with, I don't know what we are starting with, but we can start with the Great Bangalore area, where of the 30 seats, the BJP is doing well or leading in 16, Congress in 14. This is coastal Karnataka. This is where the BJP is sweeping, and this was expected because the BJP. This is the place where the BJP's polarization politics works in Karnataka. Of the 19 seats, 13 going to the BJP right now. This number has changed. Congress leading in 5 and JDS 1. So it's a virtual sweep for the BJP in coastal Karnataka. If we can then move to the 2 citadels of the BJP, Mumbai, Karnataka and Central Karnataka. In Mumbai, Karnataka, Barkha, the scene has completely flipped. Of the 50 seats, Congress getting 33, BJP getting 16. It was the other way around last time. If we can then move to Central Karnataka, in Central Karnataka again, which is another citadel of the BJP because Mr. Yediyurappa comes from here, strong Lingayat presence, which was the same case in Mumbai, Karnataka as well. In Central Karnataka, Congress leading in 17 of 25, BJP leading in 7 of 25, and JDS leading in 1 of 25. That's Central Karnataka there for you. This is Yediyurappa land essentially. So the Congress leading in 17 of 25. These are updated numbers because things are changing rapidly. So we have to keep pace with that. So right now 17 to 7, the slide showing 16 to 8. They're almost there. And if we quickly pull up Mumbai, Karnataka as well, I can quickly go over the numbers once again. And look at the contrast from last time. You know, it's huge. The contrast is huge because the BJP did really well in Mumbai, Karnataka, winning 20 seats of 25 last time. This time, Central Karnataka rather, they're leading in 17. In Mumbai, Karnataka, as I said, this is again a strong Lingayat area. Congress 30, BJP 18, JDS 2. The image was exactly the opposite last time, where the BJP had a very handsome performance in this area. We can then move to the old Mysuru area, which is again a very important area with 57 seats. Here, the Congress has gained at the expense of the JDS. So BJP is sort of holding. Congress 33, JDS 16, BJP 5. Again, a slight difference because, as I'm saying, these numbers are changing dynamically. But this is a very good performance for the Congress. The JDS last time got 27 seats in this area. So they have dropped 11 seats, shaved off 11 seats. So that will be disappointing for them. And then the Hyderabad, Karnataka area, which has implications for the Congress nationally, because this is SC/ST plus Muslims, this is 50%. This is Mr. Kharge's area. Here, the Congress is leading in 25 out of 41 seats, BJP in 10 out of 41 seats. So the Congress's strike rate is roughly 62%, which is again a very credible performance. So that's what it is. You know, if we can just pull up the entire map of Karnataka in one go quickly, I can summarize this really quickly. BJP doing well in coastal Karnataka as expected, holding fort in the greater Bangalore area, but Congress essentially picking up in 4 of the 6 regions. Hyderabad, Karnataka, Central Karnataka, Mumbai, Karnataka, Old Mysore. They have flipped the results in 4 of the 6. When I say flip, the reference point is 2018. So once the overall map, the comprehensive map is up, this will become clearer. But the story is that the Congress has gained in 4 of the 6 regions. Yeah, right there. The BJP has held in coastal and Bengaluru, and that's where the BJP is at 68, and the Congress has raced to 128. The JDS has lost 15 seats, a lot of losses coming from the old Mysore area, and that's the Congress's path to victory for today. And now, at this point, Barkha, as we speak, Congress is touching 130, BJP 66, GDS 22. Again, this is the Axis My India territory now. So it seems even the marginal seats seem to have gone towards the Congress, which is where C voter was being a little conservative, although even yesterday, even they sort of called it in the 120 to 140 range. But this is a phenomenal result for the Congress if these trends hold.
Well, 130 would be exactly where Mr. Siddaramaiah had forecast his performance, and he's about to speak to the media soon. We'll cut across live when we have that. PKD Nambiar is with us, Nilanjan Sarkar, Nalini Singh, Neeta Chakrabarti. Let's get the first comments. Nalini, the overall politics. We've done a lot of talking about the number. The Congress is going to try and push a conclusion for its national leadership. They're going to try and position themselves now as the opposition party that needs to be taken or retaken seriously. The BJP is going to try and localize it. It's the exact opposite of how the campaigns were fought, where the Congress tried to localize it and the BJP tried to make it about national politics. Your take, Nalini?
Barkha, I've actually lost you in the middle and I can't see anybody, but never mind. I think, Barkha, let me do a little bit of Man Ki Baat, my Man Ki Baat, because I think now the time has come to say that religion has been played yet again as a vote catcher. And, to bring in Bajrang Bali, and then for it, from what you can see, not to succeed. Maybe the Muslims who got polarized. But I want to say something which I think is now it needs to be said. The Hindus have not fallen for this. And the Hindus of Karnataka do not seem to have got into that kind of polarization that was hoped for by the BJP. And also, I think we also need to say that when we have reservation, and we talked about the taking away the quota of the Muslims for whatever reasons, that religion is not supposed to be a determinant of quota, but however, it was taken away on the eve of the elections. The Lingayats and Vokalingas, both of them do not seem to have fallen for it. So I think that this is something that we need to say, and also that the Honorable Prime Minister, I must, at that time, and I'm not at all being, this is not, I'm not going above my pay scale in life, to say that to manufacture outrage on the questions of, let's say, sovereignty of Karnataka. Has anybody ever heard in the last 50 years, whenever Karnataka came into existence, that there is something which is that Karnataka will break away from India? I mean, who can ever suggest it in their sane minds? And for our Honorable Prime Minister to take it up. So these are the three. And I think that what really also seems to have mattered a lot over here is that the poor are still looking for guarantees of life, of the base that will.
But Nalini, you make this very interesting point about how this whole Bajrang Bali invocation didn't work in the campaign. But what's interesting is, and we can show those shots now, the Congress workers, while celebrating, actually raised Jai Hanuman slogans, right? So there you can see those, and the mace and so on. And also the Congress politicians like Bhupesh Baghel are tweeting lines now from the Hanuman Chalisa. So it's not as if the Congress is letting go of this. In fact, Priyanka Gandhi offered prayers at a Hanuman Mandir earlier today. So religion is now in politics. The Congress is also using religious sort of subtext to answer the BJP. Nalini.
So I think that therefore we have to ask one question, Barkha. We don't have to fall in for this. They are doing it. It's a good thing you're reporting it. But look at what's really happening. The question, which is the essence of this, is, can BJP or any other party polarize every election? Or is it just a phenomena of the North, as one of your earlier panelists was saying? So if the BJP cannot polarize every election on the basis of religion, maybe BJP can polarize on something else, which is on the per capita income clustering or inequality or something. But on religion, I think it has become something which is so sharp now that it is taking away the public from, short term, the public will think about the religion. But what about, we are in the age of artificial intelligence. Chat GPT has gone, and we are on the next one, which is Auto GPT. So I'm just saying, in an environment like this, are we going to really talk about this question of the Hindu-Muslim divide?
But I think the elephant in the room is also whether the BJP doesn't understand the South. The Karnataka was the one state where it had a strong. Of course, I should also say, in 38 years in Karnataka, no one has been re-elected. So to that extent, it has kept with the pattern of the state. Nilanjan, any sort of macro perspective in addition to the numbers that Kartikeya has taken us through before I get into the politics of it, Nilanjan?
So, one thing when you look at the aggregate numbers is that it's sort of misleading. It looks like the BJP's vote share hasn't dropped at all. When I run the numbers, conditional on if the BJP won last time in those seats, it's lost an average of 5 percentage points. In seats that were Lingayat dominated, it's lost an average of 6 percentage points. These are huge anti-incumbency, right? And so there are two sources of anti-incumbency locally that showed up for the BJP. One is, of course, breaking of its Lingayat base. But the second, which was mentioned briefly by Nalini, right, which is that, we are seeing a swing among poorer voters, potentially among female voters, right? There's been some discussion of that. And it's actually something we've seen across India, right, where a certain kind of welfare politics has been very, very effective as a counter to BJP's strategies. It was in Bengal. In fact, it was this kind of welfare strategy that worked in BJP's favor in UP, right? So I think what we're starting to see is a certain kind of political narrative showing up around welfare delivery, around gender, which is actually having genuine political impacts on the ground. I think it is true that there's a difference between the North and the South. And I think when we think about what the national implications of an election like this might be, is that unlike the North, I do think the Congress leadership and even the JDS leadership has an ability to hold on to its regional support bases, even in national elections. So in 2014, the BJP only won 17 out of the 28 seats, right? Even though it swept last time, 25 out of 28. So it's plausible that the Congress can actually pull back even in the national elections on the backs of what has been done this time. Unlike the North, where irrespective of how the Congress party is doing in state elections, it seems like the BJP has really had the trump card in the last couple of national elections.
Right. That's very interesting. And I think you're making the important point that if you just look at the vote share, you'd think the BJP hasn't suffered anti-incumbency, but in vote to seat conversion, that's a massive knock that the BJP has taken. And in fact, you can see the BJP was, got 104 seats in the last assembly election. It's down in Leeds at least to 66. So that point is well taken. We also have Pooja Prasanna of News Minute joining us. But PKD Nambiar, where do you think the BJP went wrong? And, the Prime Minister made a very, very aggressive sort of intervention leading this campaign in many ways. Maybe he contained the damage. Maybe it would have been even worse for the BJP had he not stepped in. But the Congress, of course, is pouncing on this win by saying the Prime Minister has lost. Those were the exact words of Jairam Ramesh. PKD Nambiar.
Well, I would say that BJP went on a little overconfident, and which generally is the body language of the party, generally, even if you really look at it in any election, because that's the way they use all their man and mission and the people and the leaders to the fullest. But there are times you need to understand that there is a background of an election. In fact, I have been telling, even despite that I support the present regime, that there is something which was really lacking in the government from the last 1 year. There has been a message which has clearly been able to come across in that it's a corrupt government. The government do not have a strong leader or a face which is something like a Shivraj Singh Chauhan or some or a Yogi Adityanath. That kind of a leader was also missing after the Yediyurappa. Of course, it was a combination of multiple things, along with definitely the DK Shivakumar and the Congress, the Siddaramaiah was trying to come together and doing it. And the most important thing is that Rahul Gandhi, the Congress have been able to keep the Rahul Gandhi a little far away from the election campaign. So that
but
also may have helped.
Not in giving credit.
So that also may have helped Congress to sustain. But I think this election has not just the Congress won. Congress minority appeasement has really won. I wanted to tell you, especially.
No, why would you say that? Why would
I would say that? I would say that if you really look at from the last 2 years of the episodes which were happening in the Karnataka, whether it is in the coastal Karnataka or in the Hyderabad Karnataka, and many of these places, including Hubli, there were tensions which related to whether it was a hijab, whether it was Asan, and many of those issues. And to an extent that the Mallikarjun Kharge, he himself has even accepted the SDPI support. So, and saying to that extent that PFI may be a terrorist outfit, but SDPI's vote is, we are actually okay. So in that word, said there is a large amount of minority appeasement and or a minority vote had completely shifted. If you really look at the map, in maybe Sharon will be able to explain you that it has shifted in a way like as a block. It's actually has shifted in a way to the BJP, whereas BJP retained its own vote share. And most importantly, yes, Nalini ji was talking about that why this religion has brought in and etc. BJP this time around has not brought any religion in this Karnataka election. It was all brought by the Congress, whether it is a Bajrang Dal or whether it was in the case of the major Muslim additional quota, etc. This was not read, but then yes, it happened. But one thing is very clear that across the Karnataka, there was an anti-corruption mood, which was actually been somewhere, I feel that it was embedded in the minds of people. This government was corrupt, and overdose of anybody. I would say that it is a little bit of fatigue. That is also not right. But I must tell you, this has got a long-lasting effect, and I have no regret in saying this, that because it may not have any big impact on the national election, but in the Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, these elections will have an impact because it's going to be fighting between both the parties at the national level. Secondly, most importantly, Karnataka is a very, very progressive state. If the state, like such a big state, if the Congress gets, that means they will also have now more and more money and muscle.
Now
that will be able to fund the rest of the elections. So Congress will have a renewed life. May not be for the 2024, but for the definitely there is no doubt that it is for the
let me bring in reactions from Meeta and Pooja. Meeta, do go ahead. I think everyone wants to know now who will be Chief Minister, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much, and I think the congratulations also needs to be given to the voters of Karnataka for giving a decisive mandate, given the fact that Karnataka is known to throw up a hung assembly in the past 20 years, with the exception of 2013. But before I go and answer your query, can I just quickly give a rebuttal to some of the points raised by my previous co-panelists? I think one of the points that he said that Congress had done a blatant minority appeasement, I take strong exception to that point. And it's only the minorities who have voted for the Congress. But if you look at the vote share and the minority population percentage in the state of Karnataka, I think Muslim minority percentage will be around 13% of the total population. And I think Congress vote share is around 44%, around 44% from what we are hearing. So definitely a very good, sizable section of the Hindu community have also voted for Congress,
including the Lingayats, which is the point I wanted to make to PKD, and I was distracted by looking at some numbers. Across all groups,
including across all groups, across all age groups as well, and including the Lingayats, and obviously the tribals, the OBCs, the Dalit, and the minority. To say that it's only because of minority voters getting consolidated, it's probably an incorrect representation of the data. That's number one. Number two, you asked me about who is going to be the chief minister. I think we have a process. The legislative party is going to have a meeting, and all the elected MLAs are going to elect their leader. And then the final call will be taken by the AICC president, Mr. Kharge, and the collective leadership of the AICC, based on the inputs given by the elected MLAs of Karnataka. So that's the process that we are going to follow in this case as well.
I think right after Pooja speaks, what will be useful, PKD, and I want your comment on it. Hang on for a second. Is Karthikeya's numbers that actually show the gains from across communities, including the Lingayat-dominated seats where the BJP used to have a much greater dominance. Pooja, your big takeaway from the results and the numbers as they stack up. Pooja, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Go ahead.
Am I audible now?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think one big takeaway is that you cannot have a very shaky state unit and just bring in the prime minister in the last minute, and then there is this carpet bombing and expect to win big in a state like Karnataka. And hopefully this will be replicated in other states also, because last 3 to 4 years we saw multiple allegations of corruption. But what was even more disheartening to see is the way the BJP dealt with it. Instead of actually acting on those allegations, they just were arrogantly dismissive of everything and just kept putting the onus on people to bring evidence instead of handling it in an efficient manner. So it's almost like there is a strong message that is being sent by the voters this time, that no, you cannot take us for granted and just expect Hindutva to work, or Prime Minister Modi's personality cult, whatever it is that you want to call it, to work time and again. Second, I think big takeaway is that the Lingayat factor, because there was this sense that come what may, Lingayats will remain with the BJP. It was, again, like the BJP had taken it for granted. We saw how leaders like Savadi and Shettar were treated, despite the fact that neither of them were mass leaders, nothing compared to Yediyurappa. But the very treatment of Yediyurappa has also not gone unnoticed. And when we look at the numbers emerging from two regions, Mumbai, Karnataka and Central Karnataka region, which have been the backbone of BJP's win, this will go on to show that BJP will have to rethink their strategy of how they've treated Lingayat voters and Lingayat leaders.
I think those are some excellent points, and I want Karthik to just pick up that last point. Can we have the slide on the Lingayat vote? And also Karthik, if PKD will want to respond, but this point about the Muslims brought the Congress in. Your data shows something quite different. Meanwhile, interesting questions coming from our audience. Did the BJP blunder on the Amul Nandini issue? Was it the wrong signal to Kannadiga pride? Also, the local leadership's inability to stand up for Maharashtra on the border issue in Belgaum. Okay, Karthik, quickly, because PKD has to respond to this. Karthik.
So I'll give you some numbers, Barkha. So we know that Congress has done well in the Lingayat belt. We've been discussing this. The Congress has been leading in 45 seats, BJP on 20, and the others on 5, right? JDS on 5. Now, if you were to just look at the margins where the Congress has won, right? In Lingayat seats, the Congress's margin of victory is 13,500. That for BJP is 9,600. So Congress has won more convincingly in these seats than the BJP.
Can I hold you, because PKD has to leave? I want him to respond to the point he made, and this was a very important graphic to bring up in the context of what everybody has said. Mr. Nambiar.
See, well, I'll tell you that if a party gets 130 seats, that means it has got vote from everybody, whether it is irrespective of any
point we're making.
All the social groups. But on top of it, if you really look at Karthik was talking about, the BJP's vote percentage has not come down so drastically. So what is the additional extra vote, or the percentage had gone to the Congress? That is where I am saying that as a bloc, the minorities have, because this kind of a threat which has been created in the minds of people. So there is a large amount of people, whether it is in the Coorg area or in many other areas, the minorities have voted as a bloc to the Congress, and that to an extent has helped them to reach this position. So I think a win is a win, and I think it's a very, very super win.
I think Karthik wants to interject, and then I need to go to the others. Briefly, Karthik, and briefly, PKD. Please, I need to go to the others.
PKD is right that the Muslims have voted they have consolidated, but that's not the only story. That's probably one part of a multi-part story. Look at the SC/ST vote. I was just telling you, Barkha, just give me 1 second. In SC/ST seats where Congress has won, the margin is, how much? 20,000 votes. And where the BJP has won, the margin is 9,000 votes. So the Congress has gained across the board. To paint this as a story of appeasement is doing injustice. You can say that, yes, Muslims voted en masse probably behind the Congress. Okay, but that's, as I said, one chapter of a book. This book has several chapters.
I think Nilanjan wants to add a point there. Nilanjan, go ahead. Nilanjan.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of confusion, I think, for the average person watching about what is it that is keeping the BJP vote share afloat. It actually seems to have gained some votes in the Mysore region. Exactly. It was so far behind in the Mysore region because the JDS is losing votes that it just meant the JDS has lost some vote share. Some of it has gone to BJP, but nowhere near winning a whole bunch of seats. So it's actually gaining vote share in a number of places I remember Yogendra Yadav put it actually in a nice way. He said that in 2018 the vote share was more concentrated. It has become more broad now. So when you look, if the overall vote share is the same, but you're getting vote from many more places, then your average vote share is actually going down quite a bit. And I think that's exactly a good way of thinking about what has happened this time.
Actually, we have the slide of the old Mysore area, which you're talking about, Nilanjan. And can we please bring that slide up? Because I think this is correct, that most people will be looking at this result and saying if the BJP's vote share is, marginally kind of the same, then how is this anti-incumbency? Where have they gained to keep that vote share the same? And that's an important point there. You see the old Mysore seats, where, by the way, that's not so many though. That's 6. That's it. Okay,
yeah,
but
exactly. So they weren't able to gain seats, only vote share, right?
Yeah, Barkha, so this is something we have been saying since morning, that BJP has gained from JDS, Congress has gained from both BJP and JDS. Therefore, at the end, JDS net loser, Congress net gainer, BJP net stable in terms of vote share. But in terms of seat share, the BJP has lost because, as Nilanjan was saying, it picked up votes in areas where it could not convert them into seats. But JDS was hemorrhaging. And when JDS hemorrhaged, while it retained a core set of seats with the 12-13% votes, the 5% got distributed between the BJP and the Congress, thereby offsetting the BJP's losses, but also amplifying the Congress's gains over what it get from the BJP.
Okay, now I think for a lot of people who are not numbers people, now they also want to talk a little bit about the politics. Do we have, DK Shivakumar, I'm not sure what video, if that's him on the screen, I have no idea, I'm not able to see, but we have a statement from him. By God's grace, Congress has maintained a tremendous lead across the state, and today I received God's blessings at my residence, tweets DK Shivakumar, and from what I can see, that looks like him. And so one of the interesting things, Nalini, that's happening is the Congress using a lot of symbols of belief, of faith, of Hindu faith in all of their celebrations, right from the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, to, tweeting lines of the Hanuman Chalisa, to Jai Hanuman slogans at the Congress headquarters, to Priyanka Gandhi offering prayers at a Hanuman Mandir, to DK Shivakumar, releasing images of those prayers. There's a lot of language of faith that is now mainstreamed there. So, your sense that religion, politics, they don't mix well for the voter. Well, the Congress is either making a point, or we're seeing a kind of mainstreaming now of religion in the semiotics of politics. Nalini?
Yeah. Barkha, I don't think I was saying that religion and politics don't mix well. I'm saying that we have had religion, the use of religion as a vote catcher. And that this really is extraordinary because it does polarize. And my question was, can BJP polarize every election, obviously on the basis of religion? But what's very interesting is Bajrangbali is actually known for sobriety. He's a very gambhir god, and also known for enormous physical strength and truthfulness. So, I would caution all political parties, if you're going around with Dhol Nagada, please remember that Bajrangbali is different. He is a sober god of the Hindu pantheon. But, I would like just mention two, three things very quickly. One of them is we have mentioned all this, the vote share. But please, Barkha, do have 30 seconds for the amount of money that is reportedly being used, has been used for every MLA election per candidate. 15 to 20 crores per candidate. So can you imagine where is this money coming from?
And Karnataka is an exceptionally, most of the candidates are extremely rich. Yeah, the southern, since we're talking about the north and south, a lot of the southern politics is much richer than the north, but there's a lot to unpack here. We have only about half an hour or 20 minutes. Can I just first play out, one second, Nalini, sorry. DK Shivakumar, sorry, okay, you want to say something? Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, may I just complete just one more point, which is that it was so ironic and for me absolutely unacceptable that even up to 10 o'clock in the morning, our anchors were still talking about resort politics. I mean, is this a democracy, or is this somewhere where you can just kidnap a verdict and take it away to some resort? So we must now raise our voice. against the misuse of religion, the misuse of money, the misuse of this what I call manufactured outrage. We are a different. Surely we were a different people. Just that.
What are the conclusions we can draw from how this campaign has been run by both sides? That after this comment from an emotional DK Shivakumar.
Party cadres and all my leaders, they have worked hard. People have exposed faith in us. The leaders have supported us. It is a collective leadership, and we have jointly worked. I have said in the beginning, joining together is the beginning. On the day I took the oath, thinking together is the progress, working together is the success. That is what I said on the day. I assured Srimati Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, and Priyanka Gandhi that, and Mr. Kalika Mallikarjun Kharge, that I will deliver Karnataka to their fold. I can't forget Srimati Sonia Gandhi coming to meet me in jail when all these BJP people put me under jail. So I rather choose to be in jail than on having an office. That is the confidence what Gandhi family and the Congress party in the entire country restored on me. I thank all my leaders in the state, including Mr. Siddaramaiah, all the MLAs, all the party officers, and the workers from the block to the booth level who took up the responsibility. It is not one effort, including my ACC office bearers, my general secretaries, in charge general secretaries. They work like a block Congress office bearers, and all of them are responsible. I have a lot of things to tell. I will come later. I will meet you in my Bharat Jodo Bhavan, and I'll meet.
Very emotional DK Shivakumar saying, I told Mrs. Gandhi I will deliver Karnataka, and I have choking up in tears talking about how they didn't abandon him when he was in jail. So I think this is a very dramatic moment, and Mr. Shivakumar is on record, including in an interview to me, wanting to be chief minister. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Let's talk a little bit about the politics. Meeta, the Congress played it local, now wants to make it national. Your earliest tweet on your social media feed today spoke about Rahul Gandhi, not about DK Shivakumar or Siddaramaiah. You're now going to want to make it about the Gandhis. The BJP is going to want to make it about Bommai and Yediyurappa. Right? You swapped roles. How do you respond to that?
Okay, regarding the tweet that you're referring to, I think the social media chairperson, Supriya Srinath, had gone on record and given a clarification that every single day there is a tweet that recollects moments from Bharat Jodo Yatra. If you look at the video that was played out in the tweet, you would see that there were pictures taken from different states, and it wasn't only about Bharat Jodo Yatra in Karnataka. So let's be very clear that some of these, video clippings were actually Bharat Jodo Yatras in different states, and this particular tweet was about Bharat Jodo Yatra and not.
But it was on the morning. But it was the morning of
yes,
the Karnataka results.
Of course. It was, the mood was that of celebration. The mood. We have a decisive victory in a large state in Karnataka. And though we did have a recent victory in the state of Himachal Pradesh, but Karnataka is a much larger state, then obviously the mood was that of celebration. I'm not denying that. But this particular tweet was about Bharat Jodo Yatra, and hence the focus was on Rahul Gandhi. Okay. As far as the victory in the state of Karnataka is concerned, obviously the credit goes to the collective leadership, be it the central leadership, who have played a very important role. Look at the way Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, everybody had campaigned there. Randeep Surjewala ji, who was the ICC in charge, had played a very important role as well as the state leadership. Very importantly, DK Shivakumar sir, Siddaramaiah sir, everybody had given in a very collective, united leadership. And we have been able to run a successful campaign, a positive narrative, because our communication was centered around our manifesto, our guarantees, our promises, our social justice, what we are going to do to fight inflation and price rise, how we are going to create more employment, how we are going to rebuild the brand Bangalore and the brand Karnataka, which continues to be the IT hub of our nation. So our campaign was a positive campaign of What value can we bring to the table if we are given a chance to form the government?
Okay, Meeta, let me just bring in Pooja. I think she has to leave, so let me bring in a comment from her. Pooja, we've spoken a lot about the marginalization of Yediyurappa, Bommai's government underperforming, but what about how the Congress will avoid a Rajasthan type situation here? What about Mr. Shivakumar's open ambition and Mr. Siddaramaiah seeing himself obviously as the front runner for the post of chief minister? Pooja, what do you see happening in that space? Yeah.
Very, very tricky days ahead. And they've both been very, very clear that they're both aspirants. And they've said that, we'll eventually leave it to the party high command. But it won't be that simple, right? Because the factors that they'll have to take in will be very, very important. Let's not forget that, Lok Sabha elections just 1 year away, and they need both the leaders to be united to ensure that the Congress does not have a repeat of 2019 results, because BJP managed to win 26 out of 29 seats here in Karnataka then. So they have to keep both of them happy. And what we're picking up, Barkha, at this point is that Siddaramaiah has said that this is my last election, so I have no other ambition. I don't have anything else that you can offer me. So possibly they could work out a 50-50 sort of formula, perhaps 2.5 years of chief ministership to Siddaramaiah and the rest to DK Shivakumar. But that said, even if Siddaramaiah does manage to become the chief minister, it has been told to him clearly that he will not have complete autonomy. In 2013, when he was the chief minister, he did have a free hand, and he did try to bring in a lot of policies that were from his own pet projects, right? This time around, he will have a very strong cabinet, which will not necessarily be of his choice. DK Shivakumar will have a lot of say in which way the government will run. So it will be a clipped Siddaramaiah if he does manage to become the chief minister. But, it will be very tricky to have both of them on the same page. Kharge is also somebody who you cannot rule out. He campaigned extensively in Karnataka. He's nursed the ambition to be Karnataka chief minister for about 15-20 years now, if not more.
But
so
he's now, yeah, that's an interesting thought. I mean, that's very, very interesting. But Pooja, what's your guess? What's your best guess? Who will be the chief minister?
I wouldn't want to bet too much, but I'm thinking there would be a compromise formula between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar in that order.
Okay, thanks, Pooja. We'll let you go. Thank you very much. I just start taking last comments on what this might mean for the campaign, national campaign leading up to 2024. Does it mean anything at all, Nilanjan?
So I think the most striking result today, and the exit polls were picking it up, which we've not necessarily talked about, is how the Congress is performing among the disadvantaged classes.
We did look at that, but we look at it again. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah. Just I meant in the last sort of 20-30 minutes, and
yes.
As I said, that this is an emerging politics that is a very powerful form of politics, this sort of class politics that I think is very effective in the polity, and it's something that allows the opposition parties to give an effective counter to, I would say, a North India style Hindu-Muslim politics.
I'm so
right?
sorry, Mr. Siddaramaiah speaking live. We've got to go to him as soon as we're ready. Are we ready? Okay, but that's actually the SC/ST seats in the meantime. But go ahead and complete your point. Yeah.
So this is a great graphic for this, right? I mean, given how the Congress has performed in these kinds of seats, first, it's going to be hard to fully deny the Siddaramaiah camp, because I think it has performed so well in SC/ST among disadvantaged populations. But secondly, I think it does give rise to a certain kind of narrative that the BJP has struggled with, certainly in state elections. And it's going to have to figure out how to counter it in national elections. Perhaps it will be able to with the Modi factor, but it's something that remains to be seen. And it's something that I think at least gives the opposition some hope going into 2024.
Okay, we want to cut across to Mr. Siddaramaiah. Can we? I'm just waiting for someone
Barkha,
to tell me.
Barkha, just to add to Nanji, this is not 30. It's 33 now. 33 on 51. Yeah. 66% of the SC/ST seats have been picked up by the Congress.
Amazing.
I think that's a very, very important takeaway. And there, of course, it's the Congress's performance among disadvantaged groups, but also the point about Mr. Kharge being a Dalit leader. Well, there's Mr. Siddaramaiah speaking. Let's just briefly listen in. Can we have the sound up?
This operation because Congress party will this election, and more than 130 seats. That's what I expected. But what happened also is going to be happened. In 130 means in 10 years, less than 25 seats. That's what I said. 20 to 25 seats. BJP 60 to 70, 65. Calculation. I thank Mallikarjuna ji, Mallikarjuna Kharge ji. I thank Rahul ji. I thank Priyanka Gandhi ji for their campaign, aggressive campaign in Karnataka. For the Karnataka Assembly also. And all the general secretaries, particularly Vedagopal, Sujewala, and other secretaries who are in charge of Karnataka. I thank all of them. ನಾಳೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ tomorrow we want to have a CLP meeting, but all MLAs cannot come. Only elected MLAs cannot come tonight. Therefore, we will anyway, CLP meeting is called. On the basis of the opinion given by the newly elected MLAs, like him and will take a decision.
reorganize the party and work in the Lok Sabha. How do you see it?
What he said because the voting. What he said because the voting. Help me. Yes.
Sir, okay, sir, Kannada. Sir,
ನಾನು ಪ್ರಚಾರ ಸಭೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ
Sorry. That is the man of the moment, Siddaramaiah, the front runner to be chief minister, but not without some claims and competition from DK Shivakumar, who's really been the organization man in Karnataka. We were talking earlier before we went across there to how the Congress has performed in what Nilanjan calls the disadvantaged groups in Dalit-dominated streets, tribal areas. Kartiki, you wanted to jump in there, and then we need to start taking last comments. Yes.
Just to add to Nilanjan's point, Barkha, there are 58 urban seats roughly. 28 out of BJP's 67 seats have come from these urban seats, which tells you that in the remaining 166 seats, the BJP has only been able to win 38 seats or thereabouts. And that just adds to what Nilanjan was saying.
That's very interesting. So the BJP primarily, therefore, being an urban sort of party. Nilanjan, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing. I mean, we know the BJP actually increased its vote share somewhat in Bangalore and Old Mysore region, urbanized, sort of in and around Bangalore, and has done quite poorly elsewhere, particularly in poor areas. And I think that's reflected in the numbers that Kartikeya is showing us. I think the BJP will have to figure out, if it is to sort of wrest back some part of Karnataka, how to come up with a broader appeal across the state. I mean, it's clear that this is not just a wholesale loss in terms of some strategic movement here and there, but actually losing core bases, actually losing parts of the state that are outside of Bangalore, Mysore region, right? In a very serious way.
Yeah. Meeta, any learnings for the Congress here? The way the Congress ran the campaign here, any learnings for, there are going to be 3 major state elections coming up? Meeta? Meeta can't hear me. Nalini, let me actually. Oh, well, Siddaramaiah just said, and we missed that bit. I hope Rahul Gandhi will become the country's prime minister in 2024. So there's going to be a lot of sort of credit giving to Mr. Gandhi, in the same way that there's going to be a lot of localizing the defeat by the BJP. Nalini, what does this mean for 2024, if at all it means anything? Or is this to be seen as a local election?
Well, it'll be a terrible pity if they do what you just said, that if they give credit to Rahul Gandhi and the central leadership, when actually the work and the hard work and the heavy lifting was done at the state level by DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah. Anyway, that is up to the Congress party. But what I'll say, Barkha, you were asking about, let's talk about it politically. If we can also talk about it electorally. When you have margins such as 20,000, etc., these are wild margins for a Vidhan Sabha election. And what I have seen when I've looked at data, let's just take the RJD for a second. When they won in 2015, they won by huge margins. And that has casts a shadow even on the next Vidhan Sabha election. Forget about the interim Lok Sabha election. So this is a very major development in Karnataka, that these vast margins will not just evaporate, they will stay. There's a core of it will stay even for 2024.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give the last word to Kartikeya. Sorry, Meeta, you wanted to come in. I was asking you what are the lessons learned, and we couldn't hear you then. Go ahead, Meeta. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, this election was fought by BJP on Prime Minister Modi ji's name. Let us not forget this. So starting from this entire attempt to communally polarize this election was done by none other than the Prime Minister of the nation, trying to manufacture this anger, trying to build this narrative, because they really did not have any progress card to showcase, and hence the need for communal polarization. And when this verdict has come out, it is amply clear that the people of Karnataka have rejected the communal divisive politics that was being propelled by none other than the Prime Minister of the nation. So this election was not fought on Bommai's name, it was fought on Modi's name, and I want to make this point very clear, that this defeat also goes to the Prime Minister. Number one. Number two, yes, like in any election, in this election also, we are going to do some introspection. We have performed well, we have put up a positive campaign, we have given a collective leadership, and we are now leading. We have a very decisive victory in the state of Karnataka. We are happy. We congratulate the Karyakartas. We thank the voters in the state of Karnataka. Having said that, yes, there are areas where we can further improve. It is an ongoing process, and we will surely have some internal assessment of the areas where we can even sharpen our communication going forward. and so that we can use those learnings in the upcoming very important state elections in the states of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan,
Okay.
Chhattisgarh, and Telangana, going
Okay.
leading up to 2024.
I do have to close. So Karthik, if I had to give you, just the last word on what the data tells you are the 3-4 big takeaways, what are they?
As Nilanjal was saying, Congress doing well amongst the disadvantaged groups. We see that in the SC/ST seats. We see that in the rural seats. Congress picking up the Muslim votes to a large extent. JDS losing to both Congress and BJP. BJP, although seemingly not losing vote share, but actually losing vote share in areas where it could have won seats and gaining vote share in areas where it can't potentially win seats. Congress gaining vote share from both the BJP and the JDS. And this huge vote margin gap, Barkha, will be a big story. 7.2 percentage points. Huge margin in terms of just vote share. So I think the Congress has effectively cashed in on high levels of anti-incumbency of the BJP government. The Prime Minister could not stem the arrest. This all starts from 2021 with a very messy transition between Mr. Yediyurappa and Mr. Bommai, and that has continued. The Congress can take so many positive lessons out of it. The last thing you want to see is the Congress becoming less humble about this victory or giving credit to the wrong people. I think the Congress can learn so much from this in conjunction with Himachal. Localized campaign, localized leader, speak the right language, don't bring in too much noise. Resources are important. An organizational man is as important as a person who's popular amongst the masses.
And we just wanted to remind you of these images of DK Shivakumar running with Rahul Gandhi. These are of course old images, but I think they're quite a metaphor for the moment today. And it's going to be interesting now to see how much sort of autonomy. What the Congress now needs to worry about is that Karnataka doesn't become a Rajasthan with open factionalism going forward. Because certainly,
can I make a bold claim? DK Shivakumar has the potential to become the Ahmed Patel for the Congress in South India.
Absolutely, but the point is he has ambitions to not be a backroom boy, and he wants to be a front-facing chief minister. So Ahmed Patel was quite satisfied with being political secretary to Mrs. Gandhi and holding the power from the shadows. Mr. DK Shivakumar is not that person. So it'll be quite interesting to see, because his energy, it's been Mr. Siddaramaia's sort of front-facing presence, but Mr. DK Shivakumar's energy that has really galvanized this win for the Congress. Nilanjan, any last thoughts before we close?
Just a small thought, a completely different from I think we've talked a little bit about some of the religion that has shown up in the campaign. I think one thing I like to always remind people is that it's not that the South isn't religious and that religious symbols haven't been used in the South. It is simply that the way in which religion has been used in the North is often very different than the way that religion is used in the South, right? And you do have temple going, you do have religion. Actually, a lot of people in the South wear religion on their sleeve, right? But you don't see the same level of Hindu-Muslim riots, for instance, right? Empirically, or you don't see the same. So I do think that part of what we're also seeing the Congress do is to figure out how to use religious characters, religious symbols, but in a way that doesn't actually hew to a very sort of narrow North Indian concept of how religion is to be used.
I mean, there's a whole separate program to be done on sort of the North-South divide, if one can use the word divide. So much to unpack there. Karthik has done some of that work for us on our platform. But Karthik, are you trying to say something? Every time I say bye, you raise your hand.
Yeah, no, it's a shameless plug. A couple